court.
Okay.
Just trying to make sure Mark is ready.
Yep.
It's your boss.
You have all three? Can't carry?
Oh, wow. What? I have everything.
I think I need all three.
It's a good luck. Well, if you wear your mask, you won't get that.
We have a recording. Oh, you're so out of practice.
I wear such. You're good, Barbara. Nothing like. Nothing like. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and if we could have a moment of silence. Please rise to the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America
And to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
In accordance with the provisions of the Open Public Meeting Act, a public notice of this meeting has been sent to board members, all district schools, the Herald News, the Suburban Trends, the Record, the Messenger, West Milford Town Hall, the County Superintendent's Office, the Board Attorney, and Cablevision of Warwick, and posted in the Administration Building. Copies of the board meeting calendar resolution were provided to all local media, Town Hall, Township Library, and all district schools. Mrs. Francisco, roll call.
Mrs. Romeo.
Here.
Mrs. Stevenson.
Here.
Mr. Conklin.
Here.
Mrs. Dwyer.
Here.
Mr. Reno. Mrs. Fritz.
Here.
Mr. Wojcinski.
Here.
Mr. Stillman. Here. Mrs. Van Dyke.
Here. Thank you. Dr. Anamone, your report?
Yes.
Good evening.
Everybody, welcome to our June meeting, the final meeting of the 2019-2020 school year. We've got questions we created this school year. I've ever been involved in. This is my incident, my 26th year, so I'll probably won't ever forget this school year for a lot of reasons. I'm going to show you one here. So thank you for bearing with this. We're going to do a little bit different setup. This is our first meeting in person since March the 10th. So we're looking at about 3.5 months since we last met in person. Since then, we've been meeting via Zoom, and there's always a little something off when you're online. It's, two people talk at the same time. They nobody talks, and two people talk, it's never quite the same. So it's good to be back here with you all. Thank you for members of our public for maintaining our social distancing guidelines. Really appreciate it. What I'm going to review now, we have an attachment in your board packet. This is the New Jersey Department of Ed school self-assessment for determining grades under the anti-bullying bill of rights district and school grade report for last school year, 2018-19. First of all, apologies to the board members for the font here, very, very small. This is a printout we get from the Department of Ed. About 2 weeks ago, we got this. So how this process works is every fall, we are asked to, probably like in September, October, review our intake program for the year before. So our principals and our anti-bullying specialists review this in the fall, September, October. It is uploaded to the Department of Ed website in, I think, October, and we give ourselves a certain number of points in every category. It's a pretty big packet per school. It's about 40 pages per school, 35 to 40 pages per school that they upload to the department. The department, between October and June, reviews each school score, and then they send them to us. Actually, it's dated here, June 3rd, in the top right-hand corner. So we now have to post this on our website and have to read this out at this board meeting, or a board meeting. So the max school score is 78 points per school. We always talk about this at our county meetings, and nobody's sure why 78 is the perfect score. It's such a random number. Why don't they make it 50 or 100? It would make more sense. But West Milford High School scored a 71 out of 78. Asheville Elementary, 76 out of 78. Macklin Middle School, 72 out of 78. Maple Road, 76. Marshall Hill, 75. Paradise Knoll, 72. Upper Greenwood Lake, 75. And Westbrook School, 76 out of 78 points. So our principals and their teams look at these numbers, they see where they didn't gain points from last year, and they try to improve on those scores for next year. Second, we have a graduation at the end of the year review. It was a pretty hectic couple weeks there, the end of May to the end of June. We had a lot of guidance come from the department regarding end-of-year activities, graduations at the high school, promotions, or moving up ceremonies at the elementary and middle school level. And the guidance we were getting was changing every week or every 2 weeks. So we had plan A that we were going to do, and then the guidance shifted. So we came up with a plan B and then plan C. And by the time we finished, we were on a plan, I think, double C. I think we went through the alphabet one time already. So the elementary schools in Macklin settled on doing something called a wave parade. I know some of you were there, either as parents or board members. Back for pretty nice, split up. We did the elementary schools on Friday, where the graduating classes each came at an assigned time frame. The 5th and 6th grade got their own time window, and they would drive by the school, wait for the teachers, would wait back on, etc. The high school had, we reserved the Warwick Drive-In in early May as a backup plan in case we could not graduate in person, and it turns out we could not graduate in person. So we held we booked the drive-in on May 5th, and we held that date for June 18th. And we had, can be described as probably the best graduation West Milford ever had.
Best turnout.
But it's the best one I've ever been to in any school district. It was fun. It was exciting. The kids had a great time. We don't, I was telling Trustee Fritz that there's not a lot of things we do that you could say 100% of people agree with. There's a lot of things that are 50-50, or if we're lucky, 75 of the people are happy and 25% aren't. 100% of the people I spoke with had a great time. I can see one student, every student was smiling ear to ear, and the parent was smiling ear to ear. All the staff members who showed up volunteered their time. We appreciate that. So it was a great evening. It was a night we'll never forget. That wrapped up the 1920 school. So now we take to our next point, the Restart Committee. We are waiting on guidance from Governor Murphy. It's indicated we're going to get some guidance. I think they're in the middle of this week with the phrase we're using. We were told. So that's, in my mind, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of this week. So we should have some more concrete guidelines from the Department of Ed, from Governor Murphy's office, telling us what we have to do to open school in September. We have some plans right now in place to move forward with this. But before we finalize everything, we really want to wait out some guidance from Fred before we do this. We could be looking at some sort of alternating day schedule in the fall, where half the students show up on Monday and half show up on Tuesday. We could be looking at some personal protective equipment, PPE, whether it's masks or other things we need to wear. We could be looking at some different instructional pedagogies. You know, the kindergarten teacher is sitting on the rug with all the students around her, is probably something we won't be doing in the fall. So there's going to be a lot of our schools that's the same, but there's going to be a lot that changes between now and September. So we hope that when we get this guidance this week, we can really continue into next year and finalize our plans. So we do have one final meeting with the Restart Committee, I believe it's next week. And we hope to have some more concrete ideas for the board and for the community moving forward. So parents can then plan for their own issues for the fall, whether it's daycare or whatnot. Okay? That's all for me.
Thank you. Mr. Novak?
Thank you. I'm going to jump in where Dr. Anamone left off with the discussion of the Restart Committee. We have been meeting over the last month to discuss those possibilities that Dr. Anamone just referred to. One aspect of the committee that I've been involved in is the Distance Learning Committee, and I just wanted to, I guess, make an announcement to anybody who's logging in or watching that we did present a community survey. It went out yesterday, and we already have close to 900 responses. So, you know, we definitely have some interested people who want to fill out the survey and share their thoughts. And I read through all of it today, and I'm happy to say that there's there's a lot of positive feedback, and there's a lot of suggestions for how this affected individual families and their different situations. And that's something we've been talking about all along, is we can't account for what's going on in all the individual homes, but we're trying to do our best. So with that tone, I believe we did our best, and now we have some great information in case we have to use that model once again. So we're at about 900. The previous highest response survey we had was the homework survey, which had just over 1,000. So I'd like to see this one, kind of beat that number. But we'll see. So a lot of good responses, and I'll be sharing that with the Restart Committee when we meet again. Yes.
Will you share the results of this survey with the board?
Yeah.
Especially the suggestions. I'd like to see what the community is suggesting.
Yeah, that's part of it, and you'll go through it as probably as part of the Restart Committee before we talk about it at Ed Committee.
Okay.
So I'll have it at the July 14th Education Committee meeting, and then our next Restart Committee meeting will be before that. So yes. Moving on to my, the actual item on my report is summer initiative. So Dr. McQuaid and I are just going to give a little overview of where we are at with summer programming. Transitioning from Restart, we were able to take some feedback from the Restart Committee and apply that to our goals for what we're doing with the summer reading program, which is a program that I'm deeply involved with, and also to Dr. McQuaid's extended school year for special ed programming. So we're very excited in what that is looking like. We have tremendous turnout, and I'll let you speak to yours, but for summer reading program, we have reached our current maximum capacity, which is something we haven't done in probably last 5 or 6 years. From what I've seen, we haven't had this many students turn out. So we are getting a few students who still want to enroll that we had to put on a wait list, but I don't anticipate that they'll stay on a wait list. We're just kind of waiting for people to finalize their plans and see if they no longer want to participate. When we first put this program out, there were no summer camps. We were the only show in town when we launched this invitation. Since then, there's been a few summer camps that have opened up. So we'll see first if we have some students withdraw, then we can add in those students who are on the wait list. And there is a potential, so tonight on the agenda, you have a hand carry for me to add additional staff to the summer reading program. We've been running it with about eight teachers for many years. You're going to vote tonight to put it up to 14, which will keep our class sizes small and appropriate. And I think that's something we've been talking about over the last few months, is that in a distance learning environment, we need to have smaller numbers. So that hand carry is going to make it so that our class sizes are about 10 or less per staff member. We've got a tremendous turnout. We're about 140 kids, which is perfect.
Well, Dan, it's funded through the grant,
Yes.
through the title, right?
Yeah, all the
Title
funding
I.
for this program is Title I. And unfortunately, we had enough funding to be able to add more staff.
That's great.
Dr. McQuaid?
And then for,
You can yell.
And then for extended school year services, we did get some guidance from the state that we could open up our extended school year on site, but after talking through it with administration and then also bringing it to the committee, we did decide to continue with our program virtually. I can tell you that right now, both the out-of-district schools and the in-district schools, I've only heard of one private school that is opening, so it seems that the majority of the state is in agreement with that for students with disabilities for the summer. That being said, we did want to open it up for feedback with the parents, talk through how we can help to strengthen or make sure we're meeting our students' needs. So I did offer a CPAC open session on the 19th, and I also have another one on June the 30th at 7 o'clock p.m. So if any parents out there are interested, they can sign up through Helen Frank or send me an email and we'll add them to the Google Meet. It will be held virtually. Our plan, you'll see on the agenda, is that we are approving teachers and we are approving related services because we do plan to still support the programs with the BCBA, occupational therapists, physical therapists, and speech therapists. We plan to focus on recoupment and regression, which is really the heart of extended school year. In our program right now, we have about 73 students that are signed up. So we did get a few students that, decided not to come to extended school year, but it was not, maybe it was like a handful at this point, maybe 10 families, but the rest are participating. So we probably will, Mr. Novak and I will have another update for you at the July board meeting to be able to let you know kind of how it's going, but that is our plan so far.
This program starts July?
July 6th.
Okay.
We usually coordinate to have the same length of time for both programs. You did good.
Well, thank you.
All right. And I don't want to steal too much of your thunder, so I'll be brief. I'm sure you're going to talk about graduation as well. I just want to say, just taking off the director of ed hat for a minute, as a West Milford kid, was probably one of the greatest things I've seen in my life for community. To watch my neighbors who don't have kids in the school or in any schools grabbing the lawn chair and heading out like they were coming to the town fireworks was a pretty special event. So I'll stop there because I'm sure you want to elaborate.
Mrs. Francisco, special correspondence?
Yeah, we have the minutes from the May meeting on the agenda for consideration.
I need a motion.
I'll move the May 25th workshop regular meeting and executive session minutes.
Nicole? Okay. Any discussion on the minutes? If not, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, thank you. Now my report. Yes, I'm going to talk about graduation. I have to say, I drove to the drive-in and I was in tears before I even got there because seeing so many of the town people out with the signs holding up for the kids of support, and it just was a great community effort, and we have to say thank you to all those that came out to support our kids, because if you got to see it, you definitely were. I didn't have any kids graduating or anything, but I was emotional. My husband's like, "Stop crying, this is crazy." But I want to say that thank you to the community for all the support, because it really, really, I think lifted the kids up before they even came through into the drive-in. That when they pulled in, we were standing, saying hi, seeing the kids in the car, their families, everybody was pumped up and I mean, usually we see kids at graduation and they're standing there and they look like, they're kind of deer in headlights and they're a little afraid. It was wonderful. I want to thank Matt Stryans and his team at the high school. They put together a great night for these kids, and I have to say, if I had a choice, I would want that graduation. I loved the video. Seeing the students, like it must have been their yearbook pictures that were up there. It was just they were so handsome, and everything was. It was a perfect night, and of course the weather held out, and it was a beautiful night to sit there too. So I have to say, and on the next note, I would like to thank all the staff, the students, and the parents for all their hard work over the last few months. This has been a trying time for so many, and I think that the group of staff and students and parents have earned the time off this summer, and if anything, I think that's why you might see some people not in the programs, because they're just looking for that downtime of not being on every day. So I just want to thank everyone. I greatly appreciate the support for the district. And that's about it for tonight. Now time for public comment. This portion of the meeting is open, open to members of the public for the purpose of addressing resolutions on the agenda only. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to this meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All members of the public speaking during the public comment period are asked to address topics listed in the agenda. All speakers are asked to sign the register, provide and to give their full name, spell their last name, and group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of other individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged, and the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Anyone wishing to speak on the agenda items?
Is the petition on the agenda item for the curriculum change?
No.
No, that's not a,
When we say agenda items, we mean agenda items that are being voted on, personnel, education. So we do have a second public comment portion in just a few minutes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? If not,
I'll second that.
there's- all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
All right, just actually two edits on the agenda that we can make before we go on. On page number 10, Personnel Student Affairs, number 16. This is a recommendation to approve compliance officers. There's going to be one name deleted under anti-bullying specialist for Macapin. The name is Lauren Ginty. That name is deleted.
where was that?
Personnel Student Affairs, number 16. There's a few approvals there. We're going to take off one name,
Okay.
and the anti-bullying specialist for Macapin, so Lauren Ginty's name will be deleted. And under Operations and Finance, you have we're going to pull the agenda item number 11 on page 15, and we have a replacement motion for number 11 on green. Barbara, could you just explain that very briefly while we're swapping it out?
Sure. You recall that a number of months ago, we entered into a solar participation agreement. And since that time, you also approved the estoppel because they sold the financing to another company. And the parent company is actually having a subsidiary finance it. So that's the latest hand carry and replacement. So where Easy Energy was doing the initial financing, then it went to Clear Skies, and now it's going to Clear something or other.
Clear Focus?
Clean Energy is going to Clean Focus.
Oh, please.
So, it's like follow the dots. But, we had to, we had to do some, we had to do individual agreements for each location. We had 8 locations that were receiving solar power, so, each one of those locations needed to have its own agreement, outlining its own, kilowatt hours and, financing. So, that's what that's all about.
That's all.
Okay. I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Romeo, motion to adopt the agenda with the 2 changes.
And second?
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, education, Mrs. Dwyer.
I move to approve 1 through 6 items.
Okay. Do you want to add the other ones, or?
It's
Oh, yes, that's right.
I have a question. On number 1.
Wait, I need a second.
So I didn't-
You second it? Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
I have a question. On number 1, on where was it? The Lincoln. Are we getting, I don't remember this conversation, but are we
Number
getting?
2.
Number 2 is Lincoln.
Oh, I'm sorry, number 2. Are we getting any money back because they weren't able to do the final assessment?
So the price that we currently have was with a reduction of $17,700.
Oh, good.
We're getting $17,700 back.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
And a portion of this bill that you're voting on is paid through Title II. Not entirely, it's not entirely local funds. About 35% of it is paid through Title II.
Good. I do have, I'm sorry, and then I'm done after this. On number 6, I see that there's one student who's going to Pine Lakes High School, and it's a 1-to-1 aid, and we're paying $100,000 for that.
Wait a minute, what number is it,
Number
Joe?
6 you talking about?
Yep,
Bottom of
number
page
6.
6.
It says 1-to-1 aid, 59,827,
Oh.
and then 41,133. That's $100,000. Why?
Well, some of them are more.
So I can't speak to specific needs, but I can tell the board that that is the accurate pricing for the autism program with the one-to-one support, with the student ratio that they have in place. I thought the amount was high myself. The student left in the beginnings and now is placed at that school, and the pricing is accurate. Barbara and I both actually reached out earlier in the year to check on the pricing.
Why can't we take that student into our district?
So you know that over the years, I have taken back students that I feel we can meet their needs in district. That particular child, I know very well. I do not feel we could meet her needs appropriately in district.
And is it because, the cost, is it because it's the high school? Is that?
It is a high school program, and her needs require a much more intensive program than what we provide.
Any, all right, Kate?
Mine is not a question, it's just a comment. When you do look at these numbers, they're, sometimes it's alarming, but I just wanted to say, I've heard it in the education committees, how the numbers have improved drastically in the past. on all of our out-of-district students. And I thought a lot about this and reading over this agenda, and I just wanted to thank Liz and her department because that is humongous. And I appreciate Terry's comment because you look at every one of these and say, why can't we service these students? You know, and we couldn't know all the stories and all the things, but the numbers compared to what they used to be and what they are now are amazing. So I wanted to comment on it.
And then just for the board to understand, I'm speaking more in general terms, not about specific students, but I can tell you that traditionally, when a student doesn't work out in a private placement and needs another type of placement, like let's say that placement gets terminated, right? Traditionally, if a private school can't also work with a student, you know, and meet their needs, then an in-district program is not usually like the next option, it's another private school first.
Okay, I mean, could the state, silly question, could the state come in and help us with these out-of-district kids? I mean, especially one like this that's so needy, apparently. Is there any way to get help from the state for this child?
Yeah, so we do, you know how the board is made aware of the X8 applications that we put in, the extraordinary aid? So I can tell you that this particular student, one of her, like the application is submitted. So
Okay.
for all of these amounts that are very high for the private school, they do qualify for extraordinary aid, but then Barbara would better explain kind of the funding that we get back on that. But their applications will be in.
So you've heard me talk about extraordinary aid a number of times, and it appears that for the 1920 school year, which is the current school year, it does not appear that we're going to receive any funding for extraordinary aid. So extraordinary aid encompasses costs over $40,000 for out-of-district placements. And they don't pay the entire cost, so in this situation, they wouldn't be giving us $60,000 back, but they might be giving us a percentage of it. It might be 50%, it might be 70%, depending on the number of applications the state gets and how much money they put into the pot with the budget. But we're pretty clear that based on the shortfall that the state of New Jersey has, this extraordinary aid, which we would normally get in the 2021 fiscal year, is not going to materialize. Maybe it will, but we're not counting on it.
And that's a considerable amount of money, isn't it?
$725,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Liz.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion on under education, questions? If not, Barbara, roll call?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Obshinski? Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Okay.
Move to approve item number 8 under education in the hand carriage.
Second. Any discussion? Okay. If not, Mrs. Francisco?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Obshinski?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Thank you, Mrs. Dwyer. We'll be doing the HIB after executive session. Personnel Student Affairs, Mrs. Fritz? I think we could do the hand carry with it, right? Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yes.
I'd like to move items 1 through 26, and then on the hand carry, items 27 through 31.
I need a second.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
I'm sorry.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Okay, I know that we are moving meeting specialists around, and I would expect that the elementary schools are going to have one day a week where they don't have a media specialist. But I wanted to know why they're why they're not listed on this agenda, the media specialists. Because some of them are moving from school to school. So I just want to know why they're not here.
If they're,
Specialists.
yeah, if they're going to be in different buildings, right? Kind of.
I'll have to check the position control number on them to see if they're just hired as elementary media specialists or for a school. I'd have to double check, but we do have
Okay.
to share 5 media specialists for 6 schools next year, so there is going to be some,
Discomfort.
there's going to be a day where each school does not have a media specialist. So the teacher preps will have to be covered with art or music or phys ed. And same for phys ed, there's going to be a day at every school that there's no phys ed. So the teacher coverages will have to be spread out by art, music, and media. So we have a schedule that makes sure that the days that there's no media in a school, they have phys ed and vice versa. So they're not missing both on the same day. They have access to spread out their teacher prep. So part of the jobs of these elementary specialists, they have their own curriculum, their own standards, but they also provide what we call a prep for the classroom teacher. So that teacher gets a period off while his or her students are in phys ed or art or music. So we do have to spread out all of our specialists so every teacher, every master schedule can kind of sort of fit. But let me check, I'll check the position control numbers on those.
Maybe we could see the ones for the phys ed teachers too, to know like where everybody's
We have
going.
something called a position control roster, which is every staff member. In fact, you see some of the numbers in here, it might say PC and a number. So we can check up on those to see how they're coded. If they're coded elementary, they really get shared amongst the buildings, which we do every year. With art and music, they share buildings. If they're coded for, let's say, a high school position and they move to Mackin, they need a new number and a transfer. But I'll definitely look into that.
Any other discussion? Terry?
Number 19, the summer curriculum development. Dan, we as a board have asked this of you in the past, and we'd like to see a summary or an agenda of what's being accomplished this summer. And, I think we need to look at that carefully, if you don't mind.
Yeah, and I talked about it last meeting, that,
I wasn't at education, but...
no, at the, well, whatever.
Oh, okay, right.
On July 14th, I'll be able to have at the July 14th Education Committee meeting, I'll be able to give you a glimpse of what we're doing over the summer, and then once it is completed,
I'd like more than a glimpse.
well, once it's completed, I'll be able to give you detail. Also, in that same vein, we have a few sixth grade curriculums up for approval tonight. The remainder of the Macapan sixth grade transition curriculum will be presented at the July 14th Education Committee as well. So for your voting at the July board meeting, we will have completed the transitional curriculums for our sixth grade going from elementary schools into Macapan.
Okay.
Thanks.
Courtney? I see.
I also
Take that.
wanted to just talk about number 19, the curriculum development as well. I think, in grade 6 through 8, you talked so much about the sixth grade curriculum being different, and in high school, I think we can all understand that there's different curriculum writing being taking place, but in the elementary grades too, I think we just want to know what subjects the curriculum writing is happening for, does that, what exactly is it entailing? I think we just all want a little bit more information on how it's broken down.
Okay.
Especially if we're paying.
Right.
The hours.
Kate?
Last question about 19, I hope, would that documentation be provided to all board members or just those in the education committee?
So I believe in your information tonight, you have all that information in your, right?
Summary of the meetings?
See,
Yes, I just
No,
need- Yeah, not necessarily.
the names of who's working on which curriculums is all up for approval.
What curriculums are being worked on over
Right.
the summer, yeah. If I'm not on education, would I still be able to have that information?
Yes.
We can get that in the board members page, so everybody can have it,
do you have another question?
I do have a few other questions.
Okay.
Number 14 on personnel, and then number 27 on operations are two different documents. And I was wondering, I guess specifically, the title of chief medical officer, Alex, for you people to explain that, like,
Yes, they're both, to number 14 now. These are professional service fees for Dr. McInerney. One is the athletic program physician. That's up for renewal at $15,000, $15,500. And this is the person who reviews our athletes' medical. They get their physicals from their private doctor. They would submit their forms to our school, and Dr. McInerney would review them to see that this student is eligible to play sports or not. The chief medical officer is also a position that's we're required to have statutorily, and I'm not sure the exact phrase we used before, Barbara. What do you call that position? Chief medical officer is essentially the...
If we have any concerns, if we have somebody on leave of absence, we have concerns of whether or not they can come back, we would refer them and have to get clearance to a chief medical officer before they can come back to work. Dr. McInerney's office also covers our football games, so there's always a position at our home football games. And I can tell you too that his fee has only increased once in the 10 years that I've been here.
And Kate, there was another one you said?
well,
Another?
I guess the confusion I'm having is we're paying another doctor under operations and finance, number 27.
Well, we're not,
To do our physicals for the bus drivers.
okay, we're not there
That's
yet.
for their CDLs.
Totally different thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's my question is that something I thought the chief medical?
No,
Okay,
well,
completely
definitely
different.
not. Totally different.
Yeah, this has to do
So
with
the
the CD.
chief medical officer only does like workman's comp things or like what?
Well, no, they wouldn't get involved with workers' comp, but if we have somebody that's on leave of absence because they had surgery, and whether you're concerned about whether or not they're coming back too early, whether or not they're going to be able to perform the duties depending on what their job responsibilities are. In order to protect the district, you get clearance from the chief medical officer, he would examine the person, and he would determine whether or not they're actually able to come back. They would confer with the doctor. We just had an incident a few weeks ago where someone was going to come back from an extended medical leave, and it raised some concerns because of the ongoing treatment, and I spoke to Dr. McInerney directly, and he spoke with the physician, and he cleared the individual to come back to work. But, we have concerns, and that's what his role and responsibility is.
Does his office cover our physicals also? Our athletic physicals when the kids come?
Yeah, I believe Dr. Adamo mentioned that.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh, I'm
most
sorry.
students have to have their physicals, but then they go down to Dr. McInerney's office for review to make sure that the forms and the guidelines.
He also covers the home instruction.
Oh,
Who does this?
The chief also.
Dr. McInerney.
Dr. McInerney.
okay.
Okay.
I didn't know that, okay.
That was really my confusion, is that I thought that the chief medical officer did all of our medical things, but then when I saw that on a different doctor,
DOT physicals are available on the Nordic Coast.
Right, so that has to do with our driver's license, Kate. Our drivers getting their CDLs every year.
Yeah,
okay.
and the doctor that performs that service has to be approved by the state of New Jersey in order to do it. They have to go for special training, yes.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. That
Any-
makes more sense.
Any other discussion under personnel?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sorry, coming back to your question for me. Do you not have the list of people who are being approved for which course?
Being what?
The staff members who are approved for summer curriculum revisions and which
Yeah,
courses?
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
I have that.
Right.
I just want to see what's being accomplished. I'd like to,
All right, so I mean, I could go one by one if you wanted to, or you want to wait till Ed Committee?
Yep.
Okay,
So we will have some for the 14th.
July 14th.
Any other discussion? Oh, okay. Courtney?
I didn't know we were doing all of personnel.
Yeah, it is all.
There's a lot of paper. I just wanted to talk a little bit about number 16 and the anti-bullying specialist. I'm just
curious, I know that we've gone down with who the HIV specialist is in the building. Do we have more HIVs this year compared to previous years, or would you say the amount being reported is?
I can get that information for you, both the reports and the confirmed versus unconfirmed. I can get that. I have that in my office.
I think that would prove if what we have going on with the number of specialists that we have per building is working. If the number of PIVs are going down and, these specialists are not being overworked and are, really giving the children the programs that they need to learn empathy in school and learn how to have a growth mindset, I think that would prove that that it's working. So I'm just curious.
Do you want him to bring that to it could come to education because you're on
Yeah, or
education. It could come to all the committees, I would think, would be fine.
I could definitely get
I think
it.
it's something that we constantly talk about.
Mhm.
It's gonna say HIVs.
Sure.
So I think, it could go to
I feel
every
like-
Sorry.
Now, I feel like I'm going back. Kate, did you have something?
Well, it was really discussed very thoroughly in last week's committee meetings. I'm going to ask to table 16 and vote on it after executive session because it was discussed thoroughly. And so I'm going to ask to talk about it in exec. I'd like to make a motion to table 16 to be voted on until after executive session.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we're tabling number 16. Roll call for tabling. We're not, are we actually tabling it? No, because we're going to discuss it, bring it back. Yeah, I think we have to, I don't think we want to table because that would go away for,
What's the proper?
I think I'd maybe postpone.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone number 16 to be voted on until after executive session.
Then I second
And you
that.
second that? Okay, do a roll call for that, Barb? Or I can do voice. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so number 16 is tabled. Any other discussion? Yeah, postponed, I'm sorry, yes, after I just did that. Any other discussion under, yes, go ahead, Mrs. Fritz.
Just best wishes, Mr. Van Dyke, in his retirement.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm sure he will say thank you.
I'm home all day now.
Lucky me.
Report.
I also want to say congratulations to Ellen Doherty, who's leaving from Paradise Knoll School. I know her, she's a very nice person, and I wish her well in her retirement. I also wish Dana Dopp well. I don't know exactly why Dana's leaving, or Kathy Beavers, but I wish them all well in the future. Any other discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco.
This is including the hand carry.
Hand carry, number 16 is separate for after.
And carry up to 31.
Right. Mrs. Fritz.
Yeah.
Mrs. Stevenson.
Yeah.
Mr. Ochinsky. Mrs. Romeo.
Yes.
Mr. Conklin.
Yes.
Mrs. Squire.
Yes.
Mr. Stillman.
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke.
Yes. Okay. Dave, would you be willing to do operations and finance for me this evening?
Okay, for the fire, I'd like to do fire numbers, through 15.
And the hand carry, should we do, that we have?
Replacement.
Oh, it's a replacement, that's right, I'm sorry.
We do 11.
Okay, perfect. I need a second. Any discussion?
I do have a question, and I can't find where I put it. Oh, yeah, here it is. Number 27, we're paying $175 for exam. Is that too high? I mean, I know some districts are paying 95, 100. We're paying, for the bus driver,
The CDL exam?
Under Dr. Curricular.
Dr. Gariglia.
That's what it is, yes.
Yeah.
Is that, okay.
It's for the CDL exam.
Okay, okay. I saw 175 for exam, I'm thinking physical.
No.
Okay, all right, thank you.
That's a set rate, isn't it? Because of,
Well, it's a negotiated rate, but it's in the ballpark.
Okay, good.
Specialized programs.
Yeah, absolutely.
I thought it was physical, thank you.
Yeah.
any other discussion? Barbara, I just want to say, I don't know if you were behind getting the credit back from Jordan on the bus, or if that was them, but,
Well, there was legislation about the contracts that we had entered into, and the Sussex Cooperative and Jordan, they took a look at the federal funding that they were getting, and they created the proposal. So we just waited until they made that proposal. So I think that we've done pretty well. The insurance, our risk manager actually went back to the insurance carrier for our bus fleet. So we're getting credit there. I talked to our risk manager also about our student accident insurance because we didn't have any place for it, so we'll get a credit there. So Delta Dental, and have credit into the dentist fund. So there'll be some credits coming down the pike over the next few months. It's not going to be, $1 million, but it's a fair trade for their business, and they want to keep our business, so.
thank you, I appreciate
The
that.
numbers
they-
on it's 12 and 13 on here. We got our transportation costs reduced for the last third of the
Oh,
school
okay,
year.
okay, that's great.
Yeah, so we had to revise all the contracts for transportation in order to account for the contract costs.
Well, I appreciate, the board appreciates the fact that we're able to at least get a little something back. Any other questions, discussions? Kate?
Number 2, readers, writers, workshop consultant.
Number 2?
Wow. What do we get for that contract? I did find out it's the 5th year of a 5-year plan.
Correct.
We get 50 days of her coming in district and working with the staff that we assign her to at the time that she comes in.
50 days each school year.
Of staff training.
Of staff training, approximately. Sometimes it goes up, obviously, this year. She was approved for a certain amount of days that we didn't use, so we won't be paying for those days that she wasn't in district working with our staff.
Just elementary, or is it?
No, also Macapan as well. Most recent project she completed with our staff and Mrs. West was working with our 6th grade teachers who are moving, any teachers who are moving to 6th grade ELA at Macapan. She worked with them to take what they've been doing in a 90-minute language arts block and adjust it to the scope and sequence of a full year at Macapan with a class period of 42 minutes. So it's a big shift. Pedagogically, it's a big shift. I mean, we can, switch around where the, which skill and which topic and strategy we want to do on which day. The other part of this, two trainers that come in. It's not just one person. Her partner, Sandy Stern, is the one who works with our middle school staff with her background in middle school teaching Readers and Writers Workshop.
I have a question. So,
I don't know if she's done yet.
It's okay, Terry, you
Go
good.
ahead.
so if we're paying her not to exceed 61.5, and it's 50 days, we're paying her $1,200 a day to come in and do this? A
Approximately.
little over 12.
Yep. That's
Is it
relatively
2
cheap.
people?
That is relatively, that's
Well,
relative.
I know, even $600 each, $615 each, seems to me a little bit
For the,
outrageous considering
for the work that they,
financial straits we're in now.
for the work that they do, it is, it's comparable or even cheaper. I know that they've kept their rate for us the same over the last few years. And I know what they're getting in other districts is quite a bit higher, and I hope that's not, I don't want to ruin their work in other districts, but
We have no one in our
Nicole and you.
district that could lead this?
with their skill set, no.
Yeah.
Nicole?
It also says on there that it's partially funded through Title II. How much about they?
More than half,
What
more than half.
More than half, okay.
for us? That's a little-
Kate, then you, Kate had her hand up
Yeah,
before.
I mean, so reading this one, I've seen, it's hard for me to vote yes on this one. And really the reason being is because we cut a math supervisor. So I'm trying to figure out where we're receiving, how we're, and what's the best possible education for our kids. So I'm torn on whether I'm voting on this readers and writers workshop one strictly because that's a really big price. That could be a salary of another employee,
Not for what the local, not for what the local portion is.
not for what we pay.
Right.
So it's about half and half, give or take, so.
And if you're adding salaries and benefits, I'm not the money guy, but I think you're looking at a lot more money for an actual staff member on guide.
I will come right to you. Just one question. Where are we with them as far as, Alex and I were talking about
This is the year
What year
5.
are we in with
Next
them?
year we're finishing year 4, we're going into year 5 of a 5-year plan.
Okay, so this is the last year of this. Okay. Go ahead, Courtney.
I think, knowing and feeling passionately about Readers and Writers Workshop and having experienced it for 17 years and taught it for 17 years, there's no question that it's needed here. I think it goes back to what we want to see with summer committee and summer curriculum writing. We want to see how this is affecting the children. We want to know how it's helping them. We want to see how it's helping connect the elementary schools across the district. We just want more of how it's working. $62,000 is a lot when we are cutting so many millions from our district. If you can prove that, we now have consistency across the elementary schools and they're all doing opinion writing in kindergarten and first grade and second grade, and that's boosting your NJSLA scores in fourth grade, more power to you.
Well,
But we just want to see the proof.
So we presented those scores over the last few years that we have seen a rise. The cohort of students that, which I think it's our current 7th grade, they were the first students who had full-day kindergarten, and that is the first group of students who began on a Readers and Writers Workshop track starting in kindergarten. So I think we saw that in our data, and we presented that and commented on it when we presented that data back in
Agreed.
the
But
fall.
if you're spending this much money on a consultant, there should be more. There should be rubrics that EK is doing that's the same as Westbrook. There should be portfolios that's being tracked throughout the.
We have all that. We have that.
Yeah.
That's been some of the work we've done with administration over the last few years. You could probably walk in all these rooms and find the writing portfolio box that we put in place. So we put in a K-6 writing portfolio with unified pieces. We also implemented
They're all using the same rubric.
We also implemented common writing assessments with the same rubric. We have sample, there's a sample writing piece that goes with each rubric. So we have everything that you
I'll be
are
honest
asking
with you,
for.
I've been in my son's classroom and I could poke my eyes out, it's so boring. If you're paying this much money for somebody, writing and reading should be the excitement of their day. It should be so exciting. The kids should be more than excited, and that should be proven throughout the years.
So
I think we just want to see more written with, what is she teaching the teachers? What's happening? That's what we would like to see.
Nicole, then I'll come back to you, Kate.
Just like that, again, I think we're only, when you look at the value, that's what we are paying, you're looking at 30-something thousand for 2 people, right? But I feel like the value is there, but I don't think it's fair to ding the consultant. That could be a teacher delivery versus, you can say that's not a consultant, that's just checking it and saying. I think the more important thing is there consistency, is there improving the results and some of those. Exactly.
So just an idea, I know we kind of got away from this the last few months because we were meeting virtually, everything was bare bones, let's just do our quick voting and move
Yes.
on. But we can invite Mrs. West to a board meeting sooner rather than later to maybe present some of this stuff to the board and to the community as well, that we could, once we feel comfortable having a guest here, I think if we had one person in the middle of the room right here, it wouldn't be any less crowded. So maybe, the board would, is that something the board would want to see? And
I think that might answer something.
yeah, I think because, we could do a piecemeal, but I think Mrs. West can give us the full picture, so.
Kate?
Two things. One, you don't have to talk about it tonight, but could you think about polling our staff? Are they seeing that this $61,000 is worth it in their readers, writers workshop? Are they, because it's true, it might be a staff thing. Maybe the presenters aren't exciting to them. Maybe they haven't learned anything in the last 4 years that they didn't already know. What is our staff saying? That would be really important. And my second thing is a question, which is, what if we were to table number 2, could this get voted on in July? Would that make a difference?
That would make a huge difference.
Yes.
They are a very busy consultant firm,
Okay.
and if we table it tonight, then we will have some of the worst days for, we don't want a consultant come in, on Halloween and those types of days. So in the past, we used to use, it used to be solely based on waiting for title funds, and when we were scheduling in August, our dates were, at the end of their list after other districts have booked them. Now, because we've had that relationship, we're able to pencil in our dates, pending approval. But I would urge, that we continue with our plan. They've formed tremendous relationships with our staff over the years. They know our staff as well as our staff and our administrators do. There's something to be said for that a trusted consultant who can come in and shoot you straight without any fear of, evaluation or a non-collegial sort of repertoire. So, to me, it's been our plan all along. We've seen growth in our ELA scores. And to pull the rug out from under it now, I think would be irresponsible, to be perfectly honest with you.
I do have to just support Mr. Novak on that, because I do want to just say that I believe that our special education teachers have also benefited, because they are a part of all of the training and have been really a part of everything that you've been doing on the gen ed side. So, I do have to agree. I feel like even if the board wants more information, invite Mrs. Weston to hear it. But I would also agree with Mr. Novak. I wouldn't not vote for these consultants. I think we're lucky to have them here in West Milford.
I think I have a question on the fact that we're in year 5.
Going into year 5.
You're going into year 5. Are we looking at a change coming after year 5?
That's what we have to figure
Right,
out.
because we're going to be evaluating that. And
Sure.
so this probably would be the last year of that consulting.
Beyond that
as
point,
far as right
it's a
now.
lot of maintenance at that point, because you might have somebody who retires next June, and then, so all the teachers are fully trained, and then September starts, you have one teacher with no training because they're brand new. You have to then train that person, turnkey it. They mentor. It's probably not the same as having 5 years of training to have a mentor go over some odds and ends. So you do lose a little something every time somebody retires off your training, whether it's math training, readers, writers workshops. People get trained, but they move on. New people come in, and you just can't end the training. It's kind of, you may want to refresh your course for newer people, shared 911, whatever the little thing is that the new person didn't get the full training. They may need a smaller version of it. So it's what we have to figure out over the next 12 months, what we want to do moving forward.
I think what I'm hearing, though, is if some of our staff could, even if we could do it on a smaller level, be able to get them to be able to be the trainers for the transition, that it might be a money-saving thing.
Sure.
Go ahead, Courtney.
I don't question, the consultants, I think they absolutely should be here, they should finish the 5-year cycle. After that, could we look at a program for teachers, a reading program in the elementary schools, a specific writing program? Because then
the teachers would have the program, they would take all of that they've learned, they then have a program to implement. You'll tell me that you have programs, I'm sure you do.
Right.
But there's new programs now that we can look at, that would then take that information and excel it even further. And
So sorry to cut you off. One of the things that our consultants also do is they support us in writing our units of study. So we have a program. It's, K through 6. It's from school-wide. It's called Reading and Writing Fundamentals. It's based on the Lucy Calkins framework. When we adopted this a number of years ago, there's been a number of revisions that have occurred, and we've updated, and that's some of, your questions about what are we doing in elementary schools or for summer curriculum writing. I know that this summer, we are working on ELA units based on the work that they did with Shelley and Sandy during the school year. So they assist us in talking about how the world has evolved in terms of where we go with Readers and Writers Workshop, what are the cutting edge, what are the new research, the brain-based research that now is playing a part of it. We also get to hear how they're working in other school districts and the things that they're doing with other towns that have been successful. So they're able to support that. So our units aren't, that was one of the problems that we had prior to the process of moving towards Readers and Writers Workshop. We had a basal reader program, and that's something, it's one story, every student reads that same story, et cetera. Now we have this, I guess, in my opinion, a wonderful process in West Milford where students are reading at their independent reading levels, and the teachers are able to use that in the classroom. And I don't have to go into it with how all that works. But we're on the right track, and that's what they've done over the years, is they've helped us supplement the program. As you know, any program is dated pretty much the moment after it's printed. So we've been able to add to those units. So that unit I handed you earlier includes the most recent updates that our staff and the consultants have worked on. And that has been the fluid process throughout this 4 years, is that the staff works together with the consultant to see how this works for West Milford. These consultants, by the way, were trained TC, with Lucy Calkins in the early 90s, and kind of all grew up together, and then they've launched their own program. We have two structures in place for this that I think have been really successful in West Milford. One is the Balanced Literacy Support Team, which is all staff members led by Sharon West. It's the actual teachers who are involved in the training. I think we have about 12 to 15 staff members who are on the Balanced Literacy Support Team. So they come back, and Kate, earlier you asked about do we hear from our teachers? That's our sounding board. They get to speak at faculty meetings. They get to take the feedback from the staff, how things are going, and then they share it with the English Language Arts supervisor and myself to talk about the state of the training. After each meeting that we work with Shelley or Sandy, Sharon West employs, I don't know if you're familiar with the feedback loop. It's a tremendous professional development structure for having a circular sort of process for here's the training, here's the staff member's ability to share what did I get out of the training, what would I like to see next time. Shelley and Sandy are part of those feedback loops. It's a shared Google Doc that Sharon West puts out, the staff replies to, hey, we got this today, next time can we look more at close reading, et cetera. So and then next time those consultants will come back and they'll respond to what they got out of the feedback loop. So I mean, we have a tremendous process here in place right now, and I'd hate to look at a number and decide that it doesn't have value.
Any other discussion? If not, Barbara, roll call?
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Ortiz?
Yeah.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Number 51, Dave?
I make a motion, item number 51.
Second.
Nicole? Okay. Discussion? If not, Barbara?
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I can make a motion for item number 52.
Second? Did Mike? Okay. Any discussion? If not, Barbara?
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman? Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I can make a motion for item number 53.
Second?
Second.
Jason? Okay. Discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman? Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Abstain.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
I abstain.
I'd like to make the motion for items number 54 and 55.
Second.
Discussion? If not, roll call? Okay.
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman? Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. '56 and 57, I think, yeah.
For number, item
Oh, we still got to,
57.
Romeo, second.
okay. Any discussion? Roll call?
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion for items number 58 and 59.
Second.
Nicole? Any discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman? Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Thank you, Dave. Kate, policy, please?
Romeo, to move 1 through 13.
I need a second. Discussion? These are all first readings. No discussion? If not, roll call?
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Oshitsky?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Van Dyke?
Yes. Okay. Committees, I'm not really sure if any committees have met. Has anybody's,
No. Well,
anything?
you've met with Mrs. Dale, Mayor Dale. haven't
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you, Terry, I appreciate that. Mayor Dale and I have been in conversation via phone, and she did attend our graduation the other night, which she was, she loved the whole program, and she was very thankful for the invitation. I think that we're working on a good relationship between the school board and the mayor and council, something that has been long, hasn't been there. And we both see, some of our strengths and some of our weaknesses, but we're going to continue to meet, and I'm very thankful for her support, and she knows she has our support too, so, yes, thank you. Yeah, I don't think, we're having a superintendent roundtable to end the year tomorrow via Zoom. So, any old business? If not, we need a motion.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? New business. Kate?
I just wanted to make a comment, I guess really to the public, that as Board of Education members, we take an oath, we vow to our ethics, and part of that is that we refer all complaints to the Chief Administrative Officer, and who is to act on the complaints and write back to all the emails and respond to any parent concerns. And only after failure of that do the board members then talk about it publicly, and that's kind of how I understand. And I think in the last month, I've received definitely more emails than I ever have from parents. And it's an uncomfortable feeling to not write back. But I feel like I've taken that oath, I did follow those, and so therefore, I believe all the board members would love to correspond with, the public and all these things to say, we trust, that our superintendent, we're passing this on to the superintendent. But instead, it just needs to be stated and understood, and I don't think that is with the public. And I just wanted to bring that up in new business because I've received more emails than ever before. And I'm not responding to them, and that feels uncomfortable, and I wanted to make a statement publicly about why. So,
I do think that, when I receive an email, usually I do respond to the email and state that I have forwarded it on to Dr. Anamone, and he would be the one that would answer it.
okay.
I try not,
I understood and I think the training piece that we did, that it was something that was not our job, and I see a lot of other people.
well, it's not our job to answer it, no, but I do, that's what I do.
Thank you, I forwarded this on. Okay,
Yeah.
and that's what I'll do.
Yeah, I think it's more than okay to just say, thank you very much. I forwarded your concern to, superintendent of schools. But just to acknowledge that you've received the email,
Great.
let them know you forwarded on. I think that's good enough.
I don't have a
That's-
discussion with them,
Yeah.
like even if
Right.
if somebody reaches out to me, usually if somebody reaches out to me and somehow got my phone number, I don't answer it, and I usually don't reach out to them, because then they really have my phone number. So,
Kate brings up a really good point. It is uncomfortable when we're so used to responding to emails in any aspect, our job aspect, our personal aspect, and then thank you for saying that we can respond and thank you and forwarding it on.
Yeah, I think it's important to let the parent know that if you read the email, it didn't get deleted, you didn't ignore it, you're taking action by forwarding it to me, and then I could speak with the principal, the director, whoever it is that needs to be involved in solving the problem.
and you're usually good about letting them know that we can't respond to it once you speak with them.
Yeah, well, we can usually solve the problem one way or the other. I'm guessing most of the emails involve graduation over the
Pretty
past
much.
month. So we solved the problem, it didn't, not right away, but we eventually solved the issue. We took our time, we waited as long as we could wait, and then we made a decision. Like I said before, we had a great night, so
We solved the problem
We
with the
solved the
best graduation ever. Kate?
I'd also like to just add in new business, before public comment, that I have read the petition online, and I've read the 5 things that I believe our community is asking for. I'm not.
Kate, you will be able, if you want to make a comment after that, you will be able to make a comment, of course, yes. During public comment, if we come, you will have an opportunity. If, I think that would be better said after.
Thank you.
My own point. Any other discussion? If not, we need a motion to close.
Motion to close the business.
Second.
Terry? Okay. All those in favor? Any opposed? If not, we're going on to public comment. This portion of the meeting is open to members of the public having a legitimate interest in the actions of the board for the purpose of addressing any subject matter pertinent to and/or directly related to the operation of the West Milford Public School District. Members of the public who have requested to speak prior to the meeting will be recognized by the chair first. Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a time period of 30 until 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes. And then, time permitting, other public comment limited to 5 minutes per speaker will be allowed until the 30-minute time period transpires. All speakers are asked to sign the register provided and give their full name, spell their last name, and group affiliation if appropriate, and provide their address. Issues raised by the members of the public may or may not be responded to by the board. All comments will be considered and a response will be forthcoming if and when appropriate. The board asks that the members of the public be courteous and respectful of the rights of others, individuals when speaking. Specifically, comments regarding students and employees of the board are discouraged, and the board and the administration will not respond to them. Students and employees have specific legal rights afforded to them by the laws of New Jersey. The board is not responsible and is not liable for any comments made by members of the public. Members of the public should consider their comments in the light of the legal rights of those affected or identified in their comments. Members of the public are reminded that they are legally responsible and liable for their comments. Mrs. Francisco, I think we have 2 people that sign?
Nicolette was unable to attend. She's actually in school in Oxford. She was going to come in under the assumption that it was via Zoom, but I will be speaking. I have a prepared statement, co-written.
Okay, well, Mr. Nicolette, we do have a microphone to your
there,
right.
that might
Oh,
help.
perfect. All right.
Take your mask down.
Yeah, you could take your
yeah.
mask down to speak.
Thank you. All right, so like I said, Nicolette is unable to attend. She's watching. We prepared a statement. It might be a little bit longer than 5 minutes. If that's okay to dip into some of her time, I would greatly appreciate
As
that.
long as it's not much longer than 5 minutes,
All right, great. Thank you.
because then I have to do it for other people.
Of course. All right, so my name is Michael Galiotto. My address is 10 Schofield Road, West Milford. I'm also representing Nicolette D'Angelo and Allison Romer. I was born and raised in West Milford. After graduating at the top of my class and continuing on to Drew University, I graduated from graduate school with a 4.0 GPA and now hold a master's in the art of teaching with certifications in social studies and students with disabilities. I'm currently employed in a New Jersey high school in addition to working as a substitute teacher for this very district. I'm listing these accomplishments to demonstrate the power that our district has to facilitate the growth of their students into leaders, mentors, and active participants in the world. I owe a lot of my success to the teachers of this district, not just for providing me with the substantive knowledge, but honing my skills at critical thinking, analysis, and public speaking. And yet, there was one area in which I was ignorant, a shortcoming I grapple with to this day. And that shortcoming is the inability to have conversations about race. The mere mention of the word race or racism creates tension in any room. Why is that? It is something that has been deeply embedded into the fiber of American society. It is pervasive in all problems plaguing Black people and people of color, yet communities like ours remain averse to addressing it. It is our goal, as well as our signatories, to bring about a shift to that mindset, to be unafraid to discuss race and its impact on our country. I'm here today with a proposal to rectify this immediately. Recent efforts to implement anti-racist education in New Jersey include the 2002 Amistad Bill. As stated in the Amistad Bill Charter, quote, all people should know of and remember the human carnage and dehumanizing atrocities committed during the period of the African slave trade and slavery in America, and of the vestiges of slavery in this country. And it is in fact vital to educate our citizens on these events, the legacy of slavery, unquote. Therefore, the bill calls on school districts, quote, to develop workshops, institutes, seminars, and other teacher training activities designed to educate teachers on this subject matter, unquote. While this, at the time, was great progress for educating New Jerseyans about racial oppression, it is unclear how these requirements are being implemented, and it is not enough to stop there. A major blind spot of the Amistad Commission is that it allows teachers and students to identify the end point of slavery without delving deeper into the systems put in place to keep Black Americans oppressed in our nation. We all know that the history of Black Americans is far more complex than the history of slavery, and we would all agree that racism was not solved in 1865, nor was it solved 100 years later with the Civil Rights Act. But how does our teaching reflect that? What are our blind spots, and how do they affect our students? How can a school establish a foundation where we are more aware of addressing our blind spots with respect and support? There are no simple solutions, but I would like to highlight the urgency of these questions by discussing community responses to our proposal. In it, signatories were encouraged to share reasons why they signed. To support anti-racist education in our district, some responses discussed specific racist incidents that happened in our district, which are deplorable and hard to repeat. Other responses detail more subtle examples of racism which show that it is nonetheless deeply ingrained in our community. When racism is condoned or fostered in our classrooms, for example, when a white teacher says the Civil War was primarily about states' rights, or when teachers and students try to pass off prejudice as a thing of the past or a matter of opinion, or when students are not reprimanded for doing racist things, such as coming to school in blackface for a history presentation, a scenario which many students described in their responses. This kind of racism, which may seem less overt, is called institutional racism. As defined by Dayton University, quote, institutional racism involves policies, practices, and procedures of institutions that have a disproportionately negative effect on racial minorities' access to and quality of goods, services, and opportunities, unquote. Here are two examples of institutional racism as documented by two white students at West Milford High School. First, an AP honors student who graduated in 2018 wrote to us, quote, "My freshman year, we had an in-class debate about whether or not racism still existed in the U.S., unquote. Second,
Are you almost to the end?
yes.
Okay.
Second, consider this testimony by a class of 2021 student who currently takes AP classes at the high school. Quote, "I was asked in AP US History this year to evaluate the benefits of slavery. The truth is, there were no benefits or advantages to slavery," unquote. Students are asked whether or not racism still exists. Please imagine these scenarios. A probably white teacher asks a classroom of predominantly, but by no means exclusively white students to decide for the rest of the world if racism is a problem, and to weigh the pros and cons, as if there were any, to the rest of the world enslaving black people for 400 years. Let me be clear. The existence of racism in our communities, as well as the moral evil of slavery, are not mere matters of opinion. Yet even in advanced classrooms, racism and slavery are casually being debated as if there are morally neutral conversations. First, this sort of incident is unspeakably appalling for black students at West Milford Township Public Schools, and students of color to experience, as they then have to stand up and for a grade, argue whether or not they have a different experience than the majority of their peers. They have to debate whether it was right for their ancestors to have been bought, sold, beaten, raped, dehumanized in every possible way. This is the first reason why the ways in which our curricula already approach issues of race and racism are insufficient. You may think that debate is the best way to get kids to think and enact a more just society, and often it is. Given the fact, however, that we would agree it is unacceptable to ask questions in our classroom like, what were the pros and cons of the Holocaust, an atrocity caused by white nationalist racism, I think we can agree that not all questions are good questions, and bad questions can hurt our students, especially our most vulnerable. My second point, as I have learned from reading these survey responses, is that we are also inhibiting white students' ability to think critically. I hope a large takeaway of this speech is that institutional racism and white-centric curricula rob all of us of the full spectrum of humanity. As a white person, I think the fact that students in our classrooms are only engaging with race insofar as they debate whether or not black realities are valid is what is the problem. As activist Sonia Renee Taylor has instructed, quote, "When discussing racism, do not debate black people's humanity and whether they deserve to struggle. Talk about whiteness and white supremacy instead," unquote. We need to center why whiteness let us feel entitled to judge whether racism is real, whether slavery was bad. We need to talk about how West Milford teachers are writing to us, fearing they will be fired if they sign this proposal or discuss race in their classroom in a meaningful way. If it is a political statement to teach black history thoroughly or to affirm that black lives matter, we are the ones in the wrong. It doesn't matter if individual teachers or students openly identify as being not racist, though that is a welcome start. What matters is that this is not a problem caused by or concerning individuals alone. On an institutional level, so long as our schools are not preparing students to have conversations about the prevalence of racism and white supremacy today, and about how these systems are rooted in the history of this country to its very core, our education system has failed us all. If we do not understand the history of the belief systems of racism and white supremacy, we simply cannot understand the United States, which is why some of our people may be turning on the news and be confused about what they see, from the brutal murder of George Floyd to the protests in West Milford itself. Don't believe me? Believe a fifth grader who wrote in her response, quote, "I signed because I need to know about the history of racism, and people need to know that this needs to stop," unquote. So let's not let her down. Let's not let all of our entire community down, and instead be frank about the world we live in today and how it came to be this way. And to those that are still shy to teach anti-racism in the classroom, consider this. If not in the safety of a classroom with the supervision of a knowledgeable and trained teacher, then where? Finally, I hope to receive a receipt of acknowledgement regarding this action plan from the West Milford Board of Education before the next Board of Education meeting, as we are beholden to our 540-plus signatories who expect real change to counteract the gaps in their education and/or racism they experienced. We welcome the opportunity to meet with the Board of Ed or individual educators anytime this summer in order to help aid this cause. These conversations need to be had, and they need to be had now. The intolerance and miseducation must stop with each of us. Black lives matter. Thank you.
Thank you. I have to see if anybody else wants to speak. We're still in comment. Come forward. You just need to give your name and your address at the podium.
Is any other speaker able to go first, or is it okay? Or?
Oh, you're okay. Go ahead. You do have 5 minutes.
Well, hopefully I'm afforded a similar courtesy as the gentleman that just spoke to finish my thoughts as well. Thank you. My name is Mike Hensley. I'm a resident, lifelong resident of this township. I'm also a former musician, so I'm comfortable with moving microphones around. I'm too very confident in my critical thinking skills. I'm a graduate of West Milford High School, majored in philosophy, minored in history, went on to get my K to 6th grade teaching certification, as well as my 6th to 12th grade social studies certification as well. Good evening. I wanted to speak to you as a lifelong resident of West Milford. I understand that there is a petition this evening encouraging the West Milford Board of Ed to adopt this anti-racist curriculum, as it is called. This will include substantive changes to the curriculum, including guest speakers of all kinds that would come to speak to our children in the auditoriums. Changes in English classes as well as history department classes, and added readings to our summer reading lists. On the surface, these all seem innocuous and harmless. They even seem and sound progressive for a school system to take on. And I understand and I empathize with all of you sitting here that you have that kind of caring heart that you would like to maybe rush to implement this curriculum for good purposes and for good meanings. Just like our children in our school system also have good hearts and would be open to learning these things. However, the road to hell is often paved with good intentions. Words like white privilege is really just a form of white harassment. This anti-white philosophy and its radical ideology is really meant to inflict harm upon our children. Child abuse, in fact, which would suffer their self-esteem, their outlook on themselves, and cause probably more strife and more systematic abuse to the children of the school district if it is rushed into and adopted prematurely. I would ask you to consider, is any of this anti-racist education being promoted within the inner city schools? Because if you take this gentleman's lesson, it sounds like only white people can be racist to me. That seems problematic, okay? Racism is a human problem, and it has been for a long time. So I don't see these anti-racist educational initiatives being done in inner city schools. As far as 500 people or more signing a petition, I would like you to consider that how many of those people who signed are parents who live in this township? How many of those people that have signed have children that attend these schools? All right, and how many of these people that have signed have a vested interest in this community currently? I would venture to say a mere fraction of those who have signed qualify with those parameters. I would venture to say, in fact, I'm very confident to say, that if this curriculum is adopted, it won't be very long until the ramifications are seen in our households around the township as parents begin to learn the radical ideology that is being pushed try to come up with the right thing. I love history. History has a lot of triumphant stories and a lot of tales of tragedy. We need to learn never want this kind of education to be happening because he told us to judge not on the color of someone's skin, but the content of their through that lens in a very, very, just really children are innocent. Let them be children. It's not the place of the school system to have this kind of indoctrination thing. Because I've worked in school systems for a very long time, and I never thought of them as a place for that kind of indoctrination. But if you let this kind of curriculum come in, kiss it goodbye. It is indoctrination, and it won't be appreciated by the people of this township.
Thank you. Anybody else wishing to speak under public comment? Well, we have to close public, and then I'll give you a chance.
I have a question.
Once we're done, I can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was just going to ask a question.
Okay. We're going to close.
Linda, doesn't he have 5 more minutes if one did?
Well, I gave him about 15 minutes. So, and then that puts me in another position for the future. That's my, okay. So.
Each speaker will be given 5 minutes for a period of 30 minutes, and then time permitting. Okay, I just didn't think we were at 30 minutes yet.
Well, but I gave him over 5 minutes in his initial speech.
Okay.
Okay? Dave, did you move? I need a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, now I can go, Terry asked, then I'll come to you. Dave, go right down. Remember that you're speaking for yourselves and not for the board.
I'm speaking for myself and not members of this board. But I do have to say, I'm concerned about what Mr. Galeotto, right?
Yes.
Said. And I just want to address the fact that I believe that West Milford is doing its best to intellectually challenge people who are racist. By doing so, they have chosen to teach slave narratives. Doris, who's a Native American who has suffered tremendously. Alex Sherman, Ralph Ellison, Maya Angelou, Toni Morrison, Alice Walker, Tennessee Williams, who is a homosexual, Langston Hughes. There's an extensive study of Native American poetry, Asian literature, Leroy Jones, also known as Amiri Baraka, even Shakespeare. We teach Othello and The Tempest, and Harper Lee. Those are all works that address racism. And from those works, I have sat in classrooms teaching these works where students have intellectual conversations about racism and about appreciation for other cultures other than their own. So I truly believe that West Milford School District is on the right path. Maybe they need a little work to do, and maybe we can fine-tune something, but there is the literature of the minority in our curriculum, and that is more than I can say about other white high schools. That's all I have to say.
Dave, I'm going to go right down for you guys.
I appreciate coming out tonight. Been around for a long time, and from the 60s on, thinking that like Ruby Bridges is really a year of my age, and from where we've gone in the 60s to now, it's an improvement, but we are nowhere near where we need to be. People in this town have no clue the white privilege they have. I've lived in Virginia, I've lived in Texas, I've lived in Missouri. I would challenge any of you to spend a couple of years like I have, just taking the number 2 train from the Port Authority up to the south. People in this town have no clue. They poo-poo white privilege. That's not true. It is so ingrained in here, it's incredible. And I do think we can do better. We're doing good. School of Character, one of 7 in the whole country, but we can do better. Thank you.
Thank you. Courtney, did you have something?
I just want to say, being a teacher myself, the curriculum does dictate that we are to teach the children. I'm an elementary teacher. Race in a way that is appropriate for elementary age children, as well as the Holocaust. In the community that I work in, they do a program throughout the whole community, which is called Once, and the town's name. And it's the whole community showing support for every diversity, whether you're a gay or a lesbian, transgender, and I think that's coming. I think that we could do more, and I think that we can push for things here. Know that you were heard tonight, for sure.
Kate, did you have something?
Yes, absolutely. I think that the things asked for, from what I've seen online, would be for a solid equality education. I would never want to be considered a white school, and I have heard call West Milford a white high school. I want to be a high school of inclusion of all members, of all groups, and the discussions do need to happen. It doesn't mean that belief systems and morals and values would, be taken out of how to treat human beings. That's what needs to be taught, and that's what needs to be discussed. And history is history, and I've had numerous discussions in my own home with elementary students who believe that race and all of that were problems of slavery of the past, and that's what the elementary school students in my home believe. And I had to teach them during this whole thing that that's not true, that there are some people that still carry through on those beliefs, not of slavery, but of racism today, and that they need to love and be kind to all human beings, whether they agree with them or not. And I stand firmly that, yes, we are a district of character. We're very proud of that. And as a board member, I will continue to speak out along with my other board members in having character education in all of our classrooms so our students can treat each other equally. And that goes along with our HIB conversations, which we've talked about thoroughly and will continue to talk about tonight and probably every night until my face is blue, okay? Then, and HIB goes with this stuff. Tonight we also voted on a health curriculum, adding in some LGBTQ and plus things for the community and speakers. It does not hurt any child to hear from speakers and successful, loving people, good human beings that can educate them from any race or group or any minority. So I would be in support of a lot of the things that are there if they're bringing good character education to our children. And I would hope that no matter where you stand on the line, that you would want that for your children too. So I also, I looked at the 540 signatures. There's numerous, family members of a lot of people in power on that list. There are, Hall of Famers, there's neighbors, friends, current students, educators, staff members, so they're not all afraid, and it was a good representation from what I can see of a community, of a current community, of people that know what's happening in West Milford right now. So that's it. Thank you, everyone that spoke tonight.
Did anyone else want to speak?
I just want to.
Go ahead, Dr. Animo. Go ahead.
I only got this last week, the letter last week, so I did go through it. And there was a few bullet points on the second page, but we do believe we are a national district of character, and we do believe in equality. So we did hold last October of 2019 and January of 2020, we did conduct implicit bias training for our whole staff. We did the secondary in October, secondary teachers, and I believe the elementary in January. So we now have 100% of our staff, except for people hired since January, we have our 100% of our staff trained in implicit bias. So I don't believe there are a lot of districts in the state that can say that, but it does speak to this board's commitment to equality and to making our district better every day for all of our students.
Okay. I need, moving on, if no one else has anything else. We're going to go on to, I need a motion, Terry?
Thank you, Michael.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both.
Okay. Move to close public comment.
That, I think we're closed.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. We are closed. Okay.
We need executive session.
At 8:46, I move that we go into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel appointments, current litigation matters, special education matters, negotiations, and bids.
I need a second.
And executive session minutes will not be released until such time as the privilege or confidentiality is no longer applicable.
Second, Dave? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? If not, we will be returning for a vote.
We are going
We
to
will
have our
be-
executive session here this evening, so we're going to ask members of the public to leave, just so the board can maintain.
'Cause we don't have it.
Saying the conference room won't be big enough for all of us.
It's probably going to be about 45 minutes.
Yeah, of course.
I think the time period will be 45 minutes. Because we have to discuss 3 hips and that. I gotta pee. I'd like to call the meeting back to order. Mrs. Francisco, could you do a roll call, please?
Sure. Mrs. Romeo?
Here.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Here.
Mr. Stillman? Here. Mrs. Dwyer?
Here.
Mrs. Fritz?
Here.
Mr. Wojcicki? Mr. Conlon?
Here.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Here. Mrs. Dwyer?
Move to approve the superintendent's recommendation to approve the following PID, 220 H15 as substantiated.
I need a second, Dave, okay. Any discussion? If not, roll call?
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Wojcicki?
Yes.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Conlon?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Rizzo?
Yes. Mrs. Fritz, personnel?
I would like to move the hand carry number 4, items 32 through 36.
Second? Any? Discussion? If not, Mrs. Francisco, roll call?
Is that for number 16?
No, it's for number,
Oh, did I not do? We did 16.
Do 16,
we
yeah.
didn't do.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I left 16. I'm sorry, I moved. I was on the hand carry. 16 is the one that's tabled, right? Or that was, okay. I've been on Zoom too long. I am too, I'm starving.
I'm never hungry at these meetings. It's Connecticut, there's no food.
Yeah.
Mrs. Stevenson?
Yes.
Mr. Rapinski?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo? This is on the sidebar agreement.
Yeah, okay.
The
so-
coaches.
The coaches, I would just,
Thank you. That's why I'm deer in headlights, I'm sorry. Yes, but I need to abstain from 36.
Mr. Conklin?
Yes.
Mrs. Dwyer?
Yes.
Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Ringo?
Yes. Mrs. Fritz, 16?
oh, that's not it. Sorry.
Yeah.
My papers. Yes, I would like to move item number 16 under personnel, all items except the ambulance specialist.
Okay. They're going to be tabled.
Tabled to further discussion.
I need a second.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call, Barb. Should that have been a separate motion?
Mrs. Dwyer?
I think we
Yes.
should have.
Mrs. Fritz?
Yes.
Mr. Rapinski?
Yes.
Mrs. Romeo?
Yes.
Mrs. Stevenson? Mr. Stillman?
Yes.
Mrs. Ringo?
Yes. I need a motion to adjourn.
Romeo, motion to adjourn at 9:57.
I need a second.
Second.
All those in favor? Any opposed? Good night, everybody. It was nice seeing everyone and being able to talk to you. This is Liz's pen.